astute members of the Bear Nation, I welcome you to the best live stream on Thursday nights, Thirsty Thursday. Let me manage your expectations. This will be ridiculous, potentially informative, hopefully entertaining, and in no way serious. We're just here to hang out on my porch, smoke a cigar, drink a little bit of whiskey, and talk shit at a sideways iPhone. Okay? Okay. Good? Good. All right. And as we usually do, per usual, when the room has had an opportunity to fill up, we will go through the rules of the live stream. Yes, we have rules for the live stream because the channel has gotten so big, so fast, that we now use live streams to bait the a-holes in the Bear Nation, I saw it, into coming out of the woodwork so that we can ambush you with an absolute onslaught of blue wrenches, and so we can banhammer you into the nether world. Okay? Okay. Roger that. Good. Just got notice my ungovernable shirt shipped. Awesome. We were on the phone with those people earlier today. Oh, and yeah, that's badass. Thank you, Renee, for the text message.
Yes.
I want a triple medium.
Dad's live stream. He's just messing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't. You're good.
They're like, oh wait, he's live streaming. Never mind.
No.
No, I didn't know he was. Mom was blocking the camera.
All trolls, please report. Beautiful. Baiting a-holes is unsportsmanlike. Hey, if they show up to the feeder and eat the bait, that's their problem, not mine. What's up, Puglet? Hi, Bear. Did you get my email this morning? I have no idea, bro.
Admin did. Admin did.
Admin did?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Admin has got it. That means I potentially may get it at some point if it's deemed appropriate for me to get it. So, what's up, Doodly? Shalom, Dudley? Yeah.
You look like that cat at the Chinese restaurant.
I thought you were like getting down to a beat over there. I didn't know what you were doing.
He blew it right in my face.
No, I think the wind did that. I don't
No,
think it was.
it's all his fault.
Shalom, brother
said you
Gordy.
liked this.
What's up, brother?
Long time.
Shalom, Rain Cat.
He's got his dinner set too.
Did you want some of mine?
Ozark Geek. Shalom, brother. Oki's boss. Shalom,
Chocolate?
sister. Man, we got like, it's going to be another all-star cast tonight.
Strawberry.
Prosperity Gospel is legit. Absolutely. That's actually what I wanted to use this live stream for. Is we're starting a new
I
fund.
went to the dentist today.
We're starting a new fund for my jet,
didn't do
so
anything.
that I can get to Zimbabwe and preach the word to those poor lost heathens over there on the African continent.
It's right in your face.
You guys throwing donuts at each other? Don't you know it's Thirsty Thursday? I expect you to act more professionally.
My brother was a
So-
baseball player, not me.
You literally just got a bag of donuts thrown at you.
At his head.
Are you dipping it? What are you drinking?
What are
you
you
dipping your
it in?
donut in whiskey?
I mean,
Is it peanut butter whiskey? So it's like a Reese's
Chocolate and
donut?
a peanut butter whiskey.
That's a really
Really?
good idea. That's a really good
I love
idea.
that mug though.
Oh man. What's up, Badger? Shalom, brother. Bear, what's your thoughts on the price of gas seeing 300 plus a barrel? You think it'll get that high? I think it could. Crude oil since 2020 is up 748%. Natural gas was up 465%. No, crude oil is up 240%. Natural gas 465, and coal is up 740% since 2020. Which, by the way, let's give credit where credit is due. I got those stats from the daily intel brief that Forward Observer puts out in my email box at 9 a.m. every morning. And so you should go to forwardobserver.com and sign up for the free email news blast and get you a little bit of intel every day. They have a lot of good information over there. I love those guys. Sometimes it sounds like you're listening to paint dry. And so they could be a little bit more enthusiastic. But then again, I'm me. I'm oftentimes accused of being too enthusiastic while delivering intel. But, you know, everybody has their own pace, to each their own. But really, those guys do a good job. And so, forwardobserver.com. What's up? Why are you looking at me like
Dudley said that your mic is turned to me.
that? My mic is not turned to you.
That was when you looked at Stalwart, maybe?
There's
There's no
mic
mic.
is on this side of the
I'm
the
just
machine.
that cool. That's
I'm
all.
just saying, like, there's no settings for that. There's no external mic. There's no. What if I mute the mic? How about now? I know you lost sound. I muted the microphone. That's why I said, how if I mute the microphone? Y'all, come on.
Hey, you're muted.
Ken Warland gets it. Ken got it. Tinfoil hat got it. Okay. You could just. What it is you. Renee is extra giggly tonight, so you can hear her very well. She's now hiding behind her hands like this while giggling.
Heard J.A. laugh earlier.
Her what?
I heard J.A. laugh like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, you heard Dudley laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's robust. He has large lungs.
Robust.
All right,
Like, what's that?
rules
I
of the
hope I
live
am never
stream.
described as robust. As a female.
It's for white people. It's not.
I'm sorry.
Rules of the
Rules.
live stream. This is a
We haven't heard the
PG-13
rules
show. Don't be a dick. No excessive swearing. Civil conversation is encouraged in the chat. Mods, as long as folks are disagreeing respectfully, let it go. Respectfully, you're allowed to respectfully disagree. Remember that the person above you and below you in the chat is your brother or sister. Okay. Let's see. Put your questions in caps. Doesn't guarantee I'm going to see it. And if I do see it, that doesn't guarantee I'm going to answer it. But put your questions in caps. I don't know. What about Richard? Jerks will be banned after the first warning. This is not a democracy. It's my porch. And most of your basic prepper questions have probably already been answered in video form ad nauseum on the playlist called Prepper Classroom here. What kind of ice cream would you stockpile? Great question. We're going to get to that next Paladin one. Most of your basic prepper questions have already been answered on the Prepper Classroom playlist here for free on YouTube. So please check it out. And as always, your promo code for everything from refugemedical.com, handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever, much like HSGI apparently, is Bear Nation. Get you free shipping. I love those guys. They're the best. American made.
Did not say names.
I didn't say any names. Heavy Super Gardens Incorporated. I love those people. They're the best, right?
Yep, they're the best. My
What are you
favorite tool
drinking
company.
tonight?
Hemispherical, shatterproof, geographical incorporations.
I put that in all my vehicles.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Why
Do
would you
you,
even
do you
carry
use
that?
the 10 weight or the 5 weight? I'm running.
No. I had the special order of the 12 weight.
I'm running the 10 weight right now because it's winter.
I had the
It's pretty
special order of
cold.
The 12 weight.
No, honestly, I like those guys. I actually have some HSGI stuff. It's good stuff. So I was out of line. I've admitted that. I apologize. It gets back to the second rule of the show. Don't be a dick. Okay?
I know
So,
you are apologized.
and I've officially apologized. I have
meant them,
apologized.
not you, I know.
I've apologized. I made a mistake. What's up, Jeremiah Nobel? Are you like Nobel, like the Peace Prize, or Noble, like trustworthy and operates with honesty and integrity?
I was going different places.
Do you have
Yes,
a favorite
going
helmet
down
strap
there,
that
right?
does not murder your beard? No, Ronan, I don't. I hate all helmet straps because I have thus far been unable to find one that doesn't murder your beard. But the strap is very important because if your helmet's not actually cinched down and you're trying to do anything with like PBS 14s, forget it. So you have to lock the helmet to your head. And the strap, the chin strap just sucks. Like that's actually a business model right there. Anybody within the sound of my voice that has any type of technical skills when it comes to sewing, make a helmet strap that works for bearded people. How? I don't know. I don't care. But I'll buy 5 of them from you tomorrow if you can make it.
Can't you just look out the ear hole
We get
when it flips in front?
700.
Yeah, you look
It's
at
like
it. That's right. The best thing about the PBS 14s is the ear hole you look out of. Good job, Fo. So Paladin one said, if the world ends, what kind of ice cream would you stockpile? I'm boring. For me, it would be probably vanilla ice cream, or I'd get some ice cream from those communist hippies.
Black cherry.
I really like fish food. And what's the other one? The bunny tracks with the little chocolate.
Moose tracks.
No, the one with it's got peanut butter in it too.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
I don't know.
You guys know I'm a peanut butter bear. All right, so going around, Peacekeeper. What would you do?
Yeah, vanilla.
Vanilla.
Yeah, but I'd have to pair it with 55-gallon drums of hot fudge.
55-gallon drum of hot fudge.
Which are not prepared for the end of the world. It's
Okay.
stockpiling. It would be,
Okay, so how much
next
ice
to your-
cream are you
Put next to
stockpiling?
your peanut butter.
Oh, so it's like a 2-to-1 ratio. I like 2/3 ice cream, 1/3.
Yeah, but vanilla is
So you
just
need-
vanilla,
That
sugar,
melts the
cream,
ice
and
cream a little
eggs.
too.
So you
Makes
need
it soft.
110 gallons of vanilla ice cream in order for this to work for you.
Exactly.
Okay, babe, what do you got?
Mine's I don't know which one it is, but I think it's Moose Tracks.
Moose
But
tracks?
it's got the caramel and the chocolate chunks in it, like the caramely chocolate chunks in it,
Mhm.
and the hot fudge in it, and that would be mine. But I'm not a huge ice cream person. But I do have 8-pound things of Hershey syrup, so
Yeah, you do.
we're good on that.
Because you drink it in your coffee.
Yes.
Yeah, but 8 pounds is not a 55-gallon drum.
No,
That's like a
You need to
1
work
gallon
on
I
drum.
that.
probably have enough of them to do 55 gallons.
OPSEC, the zombies are going to come and take our chocolate syrup now. You guys thought you were coming for rice and beans.
Yeah.
Now you know
Smell
it's
the
chocolate syrup.
Yeah.
Smell
This
the
is why
chocolate.
we have AKs.
Yeah.
Like ARs are enough to protect most food items, but
And that
AKs for
chocolate
chocolate syrup
Yeah, you
for
need
sure, right?
30 calories for that.
Yeah, there's something about that 122 grain bullet that just screams chocolate syrup. All right, Fo, what are you getting?
Mine you cannot get around here. It's only a southern thing. It's
Oh.
called Fudge Nut.
Oh, that's not even a word.
Fudge-o-nut.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I feel like you should repent after you say that
It
word.
is amazing.
Okay.
So.
I think
What's
and if
it?
You guys
That's
down
basically
Like,
chocolate
oh,
chocolate
fudgy
chip.
nut.
It's like chocolate with
Chocolate
chocolate
chip
pieces with
with chocolate
chocolate
fudge.
fudge pieces in it.
Mm.
With like chocolate syrup swirl in it. It is amazing. We used to dig it out with our hands. It was so good.
Oh, that's so gross.
Think it out with our
It's
hands.
a fudge nut.
What kind of
He
heathen?
was like 19 and drunk. Yes.
Okay, what about you?
Black cherry, but I have a thing that if I'm eating ice cream, there must be bananas. So I need a banana tree
What?
to go with my black cherry ice cream and a 55-gallon drum of good caramel.
Okay.
Like not that like watery stuff. Like good. It should like
Like old motor oil? Yeah.
Now, do you
Sorry,
say
but I
caramel or
cannot eat
caramel?
ice. It's caramel. And, but I cannot eat ice cream without a banana. Like if I can have
Yeah.
gallons of ice cream, if there's no banana, I can't eat it.
Mm.
Can't do it.
Liberty, you got any thoughts on ice cream?
Favorite ice cream
Ice cream.
I can't eat
for the
ice
end of the
cream
world.
right now.
She's
If you-
dairy free.
If you could
5
eat
years
ice
from now,
cream.
you can eat ice cream.
When you're not
What would you eat?
nursing.
The peppermint one that you get around the winter time with the peppermint chips in it. That one.
Not just mint chocolate chip, like real
No, I
Not
peppermint.
want
mint
the
chocolate
real.
chips?
No, I want the like fancy one you can only get in the winter.
Okay.
I don't
We
like
got
the
a lot of
green.
high maintenance ice cream people on this
I don't
porch.
like it,
I'm like, yeah, vanilla sounds
You can only get
good.
around wintertime
He's
with,
like, oh, I need a
Sanchez White
55-gallon
Christmas.
drum
With
of
coffee.
Hershey's
That
chocolate
one's
syrup.
really good too.
That's good.
Renee decides she wants a 55-gallon drum of caramel with a banana tree. Can't have one without the other, apparently. Oh man! All right. Would you run Steelcase 223 through your AR all the time? I bought a metric crap ton of Tula. Praise the Father before the pandemic hit, and I've been pretty much shooting off a stash for the last 2 years. We shoot a good amount of Steelcase. Would you recommend filing for bankruptcy to get out of debt? Well, it sounds like you need a tax attorney and a CPA, not me. But if you're doing that disingenuously, in other words, you're bearing false witness, no, I wouldn't, because that would be unrighteous. So, I also think that in the relatively near future, your credit score ain't gonna matter. But I do not encourage you to do anything irresponsible, illegal, unethical, immoral, or unrighteous. Hotshot Homestead Shalom Bear, got you on while I'm working cattle for a sorting show in Ohio. I appreciate that, Hotshot. Man, there were a lot of chats that went by. Hotshot, thank you, brother. Seventh hour. What grain 308 round for a 16-inch AR-10 barrel? That depends on your rate of twist. 16-inch though, I mean, dude, what you need to do, and this sucks because it's expensive, but what you need to do is buy a 20-round box of 308 ammo for 147 grain M80, all the way up to 175 grain Sierra Match Kings and M118 LR, and 180 grain soft points from Federal, the hunting ammunition, and everything in between. I really like 168 grain Privy Partisan Match Boattail Hollow Point because it works really well on my platforms. But each platform has a round that it likes, and so I would spend the money. It's worth it. I do this with all of my precision weapons. Spend the money and buy a box of each type of ammunition and shoot each type of ammunition after the scope is zeroed and see which one you get the tightest groups with. And then that's the ammo for that gun. That's what you need to get. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Jason Barr, on a scale of 1 to 11, how big of a chance do we have for refuge training class in North Carolina? Well, based upon the meeting that I had earlier today, stay tuned to refugetraining.com. Jason Barr, how's that for an answer? And then from Darren Erp1, another Rocky on me. I appreciate you, Darren. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've been impressed with Norma and 308. Oh, excellent. How's Norma doing anyway? Hey, Bear, what kind of watch are you wearing? I just got an old military style A1 style. This is a Timex Expedition. It's not special. It's not fancy. But it's lasted at least a year on my wrist, which is saying a lot because
That's saying a lot.
Apparently I'm rough on stuff. So
I used to find broken watches around the office.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you smell that fruity? What are you drinking?
Right, an apple cow. Ice.
It smells very sweet. Very sweet. Hello, Cole Cochran. 143 grain ELDX 65 Creedmoor for the win. Well, Mikey, that's not 308, so good conversation. Hey, Bear, how much are the training classes? They are refugetraining.com. If you only had 2.5 acres, what would you grow or raise? Potatoes, chickens, compost, salad greens, asparagus because it's a perennial,
Everything.
onions,
2.5
garlic.
acres is a ton.
Yeah, it's a lot. If you're into eating things with paws, you could do rabbits. I mean, you could do 5 sheep on a half an acre, no problem. And 5 sheep will make you approximately 8 more sheep per year. If you had a ram and 4 ewes, you could do a lot on 2.5 acres. What's your thoughts on PCCs? Interesting. I just shot a Patreon video on this. It depends. Are we talking something like that has delayed blowback, like an MP5? Are we talking about something like a Keltec Sub 2000 or an AR9? Hold on. Edelvane Mayor. As long as we know that when you say asparagus is the finest, what we mean is asparagus. Asparagus? I love asparagus. And if you know what video, what movie that is from in the comments, you just won some Bear swag.
I'm ordering it that way.
Asparagus? I love asparagus. Yes, I'm aware that Jaeger is going to Ukraine to fight. He's not going to Ukraine to fight. He's going to Ukraine to train the civilian resistance, as I understand it. So, PCCs. If you have a locked breech or delayed blowback pistol caliber carbine, that could be something, okay? So this is why I bring this up. Because direct blowback, like a Keltec Sub 2000 or an AR9, the recoil impulse on a direct blowback PCC is as bad or worse than an AR. Now, or a KB9, exactly. Not that the recoil is bad on an AR, because it's not. But on a PCC, direct blowback PCC, it's as bad or worse. So, I'm getting the same weight, generally speaking, on an AR-9 as compared to an AR-15. The same weight. more recoil and less stopping power. And so a lot of people are like, I got this pistol caliber carbine for my wife or my daughter or whoever who's recoil sensitive and needs a lighter gun. Now, my wife loves her Kel-Tec Sub 2000. That's great. I love the fact that she loves it. That being said, an AR-15 is going to have more stopping power with less recoil than a direct blowback pistol caliber carbine for about the same price. And 9mm ammunition isn't cheap anymore either. Remember when 9mm was 8 cents a round? PCCs made a lot of sense. It's not 8 cents a round anymore. So the thing to understand about pistol rounds versus rifle rounds is that pistol rounds make people think about stopping the bad stuff that they're doing. Rifle rounds make it mechanically impossible for the bad people to continue doing the bad things that they're doing. Both of which the idea is to let the blood out of the bad guys as quickly as possible. And rifle rounds do that better than pistol rounds. So if you want a toy, buy whatever you want. I don't care about toys. And I actually have an issue with people making firearms into toys. I think there's a lot of Second Amendment advocates out there that don't know anything about what they're actually advocating for. But that's an entirely separate rant. That's an entirely separate rant. And so if you want a toy, buy whatever you want to buy. If you want a weapon, there's very few instances where a PCC makes more sense than an AR-15. Says me, my experience, my environment, my applications. And then only then, when we're talking about PCCs that are better than AR-15s, it would be something that's delayed blowback or locked breech, not a direct blowback platform. That's just all the weight with less efficacy and the same or more recoil. So there's my thoughts on PCCs. Okay, good talk.
Someone doing Lamaze.
Sorry, it's just apparently the microphone is way going this way tonight.
Oh.
Donnie O'Keefe, much love, Brother Bear. I hope that y'all's blessing reaches us all. Keep doing what you're doing, and I hope that Refuge grows exponentially. Thank you, Donnie O'Keefe. I appreciate that very much. Why is that? I don't know why the microphone's pointed that way, but I have no control over that.
No, it was funny because she was being super quiet when she was doing it. It's like there's no Lamaze going on. Just putting a baby to sleep. Kind of the same thing.
Somebody asked if I was a Proverbs 31 woman.
Yeah.
You're more of a
Yes.
Yeah.
more of a
Leviticus.
no.
And then
No.
Joshua wanted to know if I had an issue with the charging handle on my on my Kel-Tec. And when I first got it, I did. Like, it was hard to get it to pull back. But I found that if I use, like, basically my abdomen as, like, back leverage, I can get it back no problem. It's just, like, trying to hold it up and charge it, I can't do that.
If she shoves the buttstock into her abs and pulls against that, she can do that. But yeah, the charging lever on the Sub 2000 is pretty stiff.
It is.
Yes.
SWAT T ever coming back in stock? Yeah, you and the whole rest of the planet would like to order some.
Yes.
So
There's a lot. I'm keeping everything in stock as much as I can.
Are cats considered dirty like pigs? Yeah, they go forth on paws. We don't eat them either. They're not an abomination though. So, what are your thoughts on bullpup rifles for SHTF, man? Hey, you do you. Your mileage may vary. I hate bullpups. I hate them. Let me see if I can say this more unequivocally. I absolutely effing despise bullpups. The battery of arms suck. I don't like the sight radius. I don't like the mag release. I don't like the triggers. The triggers are usually spongy and gritty and like 10 to 12 to 15 pound trigger pulls. It's a more compact package. Cool. I'll take a 10.5-inch AR all day long over a bullpup. I hate bullpups. What do you think?
So, I actually used to really love the Steyr AUG prior to learning what I know about what can be done with an AR now. Like, I would rather a Steyr AUG over a mil-spec M4. But, now that I know what you can do, like with trigger work and all of that, I'd much rather have my AR.
Yeah, and the parts aren't terribly expensive.
Yep.
Even in today's money, they're not terribly expensive. You can build whatever you want. Somebody said, what about the Galil? You mean a NATO AK? Okay, cool. Send it. Like, and I think maybe this is a concerted effort to make Bear rant. I refuse to do it. I don't care what weapon you buy. Buy one and learn to run it. If you show up with an FN FAL and you're like, yep, 308 battle rifle from the 50s, okay, can you make hits with it? Cool. If you can't make hits with it, I don't care how cool you think it is. I don't care. And, you know, Nuttin Fancy, who I've watched Nuttin's channel for 10 years, maybe longer, right? Nuttin Fancy, his whole thing is second cool. You can always play the second cool card, and you could say, yeah, I know that this water bottle is an absolute piece of trash, but I just love it because I think it's cool. All right, second cool card. First cool is it actually functions. Second cool is I just think it's cool. And so in the Nuttin Fancy project, you get a pass for second cool if you show up with some obsolete, literally obsolete military surplus relic that is currently eligible for, curio and relic status for civilian ownership. And you're like, yeah, I just love this rifle. And I have brothers that are into this, and I'm not trying to steal their thunder on their love for like old weapons. But can you fight with it? Because that's why you have it. If you can't fight with it, you just think it's cool. Second cool doesn't count to me. I just think it's cool. Okay, you know what I think's cool? Hitting your effing target. That's what I think's cool. And so if you can't hit your target with it, or if you can't hit your target with it faster than the other guy can, it's obsolete. It's a toy. You've put it up on a pedestal. You made an idol out of it. Who cares? And the answer is, I don't care. I don't care at all. I don't care what striker-fired, polymer-framed 9mm pistol you buy. I don't care what battle rifle you buy. I don't care what caliber or barrel length or optic type. I don't care. You need to take whatever you have and learn how to fight with it.
If you have a 22, make sure you're shooting a lot.
Oh, and if you have a 22, just go ahead and jump off a tall building because they're useless. So,
You can hit something like 20 times.
is the HK91
20
second cool? Yes, I can hit targets with it. You determine what second cool is. I don't care. That's the whole point of this non-rant. I don't care. If you care, great. What I care about is that you go train with the equipment that you have and you can actually make hits with it. Because you hear people all the time saying, well, Second Amendment's not about hunting. It's about maintaining our freedoms. Uh-huh. What do you think that looks like, Billy? Yeah. And another thing that I think we should just touch on momentarily. Freedom is not permission to play within the system that your slave masters have put you in. If the jailer lets you out for an hour a day to walk around the yard, that's not freedom. Because somebody creates the illusion of freedom for you and allows you to play within their system, that's not freedom. And so be careful what it is that you're taking up arms to defend. Let me just repeat that. Be careful what it is that you are taking up arms to defend. Perpetuating a system of slavery that has created the illusion that you're free within is not freedom. If you don't have freedom to dissent, if you don't have freedom to think, if you don't have freedom to speak, you don't have freedom. So, there's some food for thought for you.
Well, we were talking about like why everybody's getting all up in arms regarding like, Ukraine and Russia, and it's the realization that you are still affected by high gas prices, by food shortages, by inflate, like all of these things. People freak out because they realize the false sense of security that they have is exactly that. It's a false sense of security, and they are still very much so dependable on these things.
Yep.
Someone had an interesting comment.
What's that?
Said, when will the line in the sand quit being moved?
When you guys quit letting them move the damn line.
Yeah.
When you stop moving it.
That how many times do I have to say what you tolerate, they will embrace? It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I'm not even getting in the sandbox where they keep drawing lines and people keep stepping over it. I'm like, oh, there's a sandbox over there on that playground where all the kids are playing and they're in an argument over whether or not somebody moves the line. Oh, that's cool. I'm not on the swings. I'm not on the seesaw. I'm not going down the slide. I'm like 4 kilometers away observing through a spotting scope going, huh, that's interesting. Life's good over here. Like, I don't care. And it's interesting when the world gets crazy, you know, like when COVID first hit or now with this Ukraine thing going on, when the world gets crazy, a lot of people really get spun up. They get up in arms. They get overly concerned with everything that's going on. And then they come to us for intel, for encouragement, for tactical, practical advice. And it's interesting because the dynamic here is when things like this happen in the world, more people come to us and I want to pull back because I care even less about what's happening in the world. Like, we're like, hey, shit is extra crazy. We should probably just go ahead and put up that greenhouse. You know what we should do today? Split some more wood. Where are we going to plant these fruit trees? Who are we going to give another Hebrew starter pack of sheep to so that they have food as well? Can we make some more bulk orders? Like, we pull back from the nonsense and get even more active behind the scenes. And it's a really weird dynamic because when everybody else is starting to care more and more and more and more and more, I care less and less and less and less and less. And I realize to a certain extent it's my job to be relatable to y'all, but it's tough. It's tough for me because I don't care on a good day. I extra don't care on bad days. I'm like, that's cute. I'm gonna go split some firewood and ruck back to my range and blow 1,500 rounds because I can. And everybody else is like, have you seen the price of gasoline? And I'm like, don't care. I care for y'all, but I don't care for me at all. Like, it's a non-factor because I don't play in that system. I don't play those games. No. They don't directly affect me.
Brother says Satan wants us to fear.
Hell yeah, he does. That's his job. Doubt. It was the introduction of doubt in the garden, which is what led to the original sin. Did the Father really say? That's doubt. Yep. And doubt leads to fear. And fear leads to wrong thinking. And wrong thinking leads to wrong action, aka sin. Horses for SHTF. If you can feed them, go for it. I hate horses. I grew up, we had horses on our farm, and they were a pain in the ass, and I had to feed them every day, and I could care less about horses. I hate them. If you want horses, go for it. But I am an unreliable source for horse information because I'm clearly biased. So...
Andrew Stanek said, Bear, what do you do to decompress when you get spun up?
I talk to y'all on the internet.
Or yells at you.
Yeah. Sometimes the night fans come out. I go for a ruck. I play my drums. I'll hang out with my wife. My wife and I spent pretty much all day today together, which was awesome. Sometimes I go see my people. Sometimes I take a nap. Yeah, 4-wheeler rides. Like, I actually have a fair amount of constructive ways to relieve stress, which is good. You know, sometimes you just got to be fruitful and multiply. You know, like there's ways. There are ways here. But I think more so it's about understanding that stress is a biomechanical feedback mechanism. And when you start getting stressed, you don't need to do anything. I'll tell you what I do. You need to take a step back. I need to take a step back and look at the situation and go, why am I freaking out about this? Why am I stressed? What you realize is you stress over things that are important to you. And so if it's stressing you, you need to put a plan in place to address it. It's as simple as that. Favorite coffee brand? I don't care. Like Folgers. I drink Folgers on a regular basis. We have a
Black Silk, Folgers.
yeah. Disaster Coffee has sent us a lot of really good coffee. The Bear brand coffee at Bear Independent is Disaster Coffee.
The
It's
Jim
excellent.
Beam vanilla bourbon flavor.
You love that.
To die
It's
for.
awesome. It's again like, what's your favorite kind of whiskey? The one I'm drinking.
Bear
You know,
drinks
like
black thick coffee.
yes,
Like-
yeah. I drink
Like
coffee that
coffee
would
soup.
kill a mere mortal.
Yeah. People
So,
are like,
Coffee
can I have some water with my coffee?
Yeah. Can we water that down? Why? B word. What are you, not a man?
Have you planted in cold weather crops yet?
Why don't you handle that one?
So I've got. Sorry, I have ice. I've got 2 big beds of broccoli that I probably have about 24 plants in. And then I've got some, I did have some cauliflower transplants, but they got super zapped by frost. So I ended up planting some cauliflower seeds. I've got those going. I've got several other greens, mustard greens, some Chinese greens that I can't pronounce. You know, it's funny. We got this big box from Baker Creek Seeds, and it was totally awesome. And it was way more seeds than I could ever plant. Like, I'd have to be doing like seed dances out in the field and just hoping that stuff would spring up.
As long as it's not witchcraft,
Nope,
because then we need to stone you to death.
No.
So don't do that.
none of that.
Okay.
But so I offered to everybody I knew. I'm like, hey, come get some seeds. Come get some seeds. And then when I was planting my garden, I realized that just about all of like my known seeds are gone.
Because nobody knew what the rest of the stuff
normal,
was.
The
the
normal
normal
Yeah,
seeds.
everybody's a
She's like-
carrot.
So
She's
I
like,
was
we don't have any green beans. I'm like, what do you
All
mean
of
we don't
these-
have any green beans? It's like,
weird, you know, they're heirloom, but all of these weird types
I think I got
of
some green beans for you.
vegetables
I think you just green
that
beans.
I'm experimenting with. I'm
Oh, you're
trying them
fine.
out. We're gonna see.
Let everybody else grow the normal stuff.
Yeah,
so
but it's really funny.
somebody said in the comments it was great. It's like regular redneck idiot or Western redneck idiot, whatever your name is. Great comment. One world government sounds a lot like 9-year-olds arguing over who farted. I agree. That is a beautiful analogy. That is a beautiful analogy. Yes. Except they have nuclear weapons. So take comfort in that. I don't know if you've met 9-year-old boys, but
No, you hear folks laughing.
yeah.
Not Yankee. It's
That's Stalwart
Stalwart
Peacekeeper.
Liberty's here, but
Bear do you turkey hunt? In my front yard I do. I fill the sheep pen up with turkeys, and then when it's time to eat one, the 20 gauge works great.
yeah. So somebody was asking what good chicken breeds for meat and egg production, and if turkeys were worth it. And turkeys are totally worth it. I would much rather have turkeys than I would chickens.
Amen. Unless you want eggs. If you're just doing
yes.
meat, then turkeys rule
Yes,
the
it's
day.
beneficial to have some chickens, but meat-wise, I would much rather raise turkeys for meat.
Yeah.
The trick with them is that they die young, so
Only the good die young.
yeah. So my suggestion is try and find older pullets if you can, or toms. If you're eating them, it doesn't matter. So toms are going to give you more weight, but try and find some older ones that have already gotten past kind of their teen years, because they do die a lot.
So, a couple of questions. Somebody said, what's the topical antiseptic in the canine kit? Povidone iodine. And then there's also alcohol in there as well. And there's BZK. So, take a pick. And then somebody said, Bear, what do you think about Lilith in the Garden of Eden? I think if you could find Lilith in the Bible by name, you can have a conversation about that. Do not add or take away from the word of this Torah. Do you ever raise meat rabbits? Not anymore, because we don't eat things that go forth on paws, but at one point we had a California buck, a California doe, and 2 Norwegian giant does. And we got about 200 pounds per year of rabbit meat out of the deal.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Plus a ton of manure.
yeah, the thing is, it turns out if you read your Bible, it's not actually food.
Right.
So, but hey,
there
you
are
do,
people that
you
use
do
them.
you. And again, I want to touch on this again. Oh, freedom, America, Patriotism. Wait, I don't like you because you have a different opinion than I do. You call yourself a Christian? Shut the up. If you're going to even begin to claim the name of Messiah and call yourself a patriot, if you lose your ever-loving shit when somebody disagrees with you, you realize I have a God-given, constitutionally protected right to believe however I feel? And if you don't like the fact that I say it on a YouTube channel, my encouragement to you is do the work that we've done. 4,000 videos in the last 4 years. You put in the effort, you do a live stream, then I'll get on your live stream and talk shit to you. And then we'll be equal. But in the meanwhile, I get to think and feel what I want to think and feel, as is my right. And it just, I've had it with Summertime Patriots, and I've had it with people who scream from the top of their lungs, oh yeah, I support freedom. But then the moment somebody disagrees with them, they want to go to fisticuffs. No, you're immature. You're too immature to understand what freedom is. And I don't care if you fought and bled for this country, if you don't understand that I have a right to think and feel the way that I do, and you have a right to think and feel the way that you do, and that doesn't make us enemies, you're fooling yourself. So, that being said, I don't eat rabbits anymore.
No, but as I was about to say, a bunch of people do use them for dog food, or manure, because rabbit manure is awesome, and you can put it directly on your garden. It's not too hot. So there is a use for rabbits potentially in a homestead.
I know brothers who keep the tour that have pigs on their homestead.
Yes, same thing.
And we don't eat pigs.
No.
If you want to eat pigs, go ahead, eat a pig. But
just because you have one doesn't mean you have to eat it.
I can pray over this and make it clean in the Father's name. Cool, I can pull the filter out of my HVAC system and pray over that and eat it too. It still doesn't sound appetizing to me.
Right. Prepping full 5 acres is more than enough.
Yes, you are unclean to touch the carcass. That is correct. That's why you throw them live to your dogs and let them eat it. Bacon's the best. Yeah, and see, you always get the occasional shit talker like this. Bacon's the best. I love God so much that I made my belly in charge of my relationship with the creator of the heavens and the earth. Good for you. Also, you've clearly never had beef bacon. But that's all right. You go ahead and make your, colorectal digestive tract your Elohim and see how that works out for you at the end of an age. You're going to love fire. You're going to love fire. So, also, shut the F up and go away. So, I'm getting nudged in the ribs by my wife right now. So.
Yes.
Oh, somebody already got him.
Badger.
I love the roll. I love the roll of the dice. Every time it's like hide user on channel or add moderator, right next to each other. Every time it's like, could put this guy in charge of the channel or could make him disappear. And if you've ever gotten a text from me, you know that my thumbs don't work that great. So it really is. It's just a roll of the dice. Like, schwack. Elk is the best. I agree, Steve-O. By the way, great work in Jackass. Elk is delicious.
We all don't need to be moderators. It's just Badger.
Literally,
Badger's just.
every time I'm like, oh, you got
Badger
it.
has a high loiter time.
You got it.
He's like.
So somebody asked Torah, do you just mean Old Testament or whole Bible? And it is whole Bible.
We're a whole Bible.
Yes.
We are a whole Bible. We love the Lord our God with everything we've got. We love our neighbor as ourselves. Shalom, SK. We love Messiah. Without Messiah, no one can be led back to the Father, right? That we are living in, we are post the atonement of Messiah at this point. And so, yeah, but we don't believe that the Old Testament was done away with. Now, you can believe whatever you want. See previous epic rant a few moments ago. You are welcome to believe whatever you want, as am I. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Great word, thanks. You're welcome.
Somebody said, can you go a little deeper on unclean to touch?
No, not on this live stream. I've got.
I think they're just talking in general.
And my answer is, generally speaking, no, not on this live stream. I have a lot of videos on that. Just put in Bear Independent Leviticus 11. Okay? What can I do for real money? Provide real services and real goods that have real value.
With real integrity.
With real integrity and real honesty. That's what I would do. Work your ass off. How's that? What is your favorite task?
6 days.
Yeah, 6 days. Yeah, because we get that a lot too. Like, oh, I keep the Sabbath. Like, cool. Do you keep the first half of that command? People are like, huh? What? Like that sentence starts with 6 days ye shall labor, comma, the seventh is a Sabbath of rest unto Yahweh your Elohim. And so the first half of that command is get after it 6 days per week. And there's a lot of people who say, you know, they're Torah observant that aren't getting after it 6 days per week. 6 days ye shall labor. And if you wanted to look at it, you hear a lot of like, well, why are those people so prosperous? I'm like, well, I'm already working 52 more days per year than you are. So that's for starters right there. Let's
Donnie
see.
O'Keefe asked, what is your favorite task that you do daily for yourself?
I don't know that I do anything daily for myself that's my favorite. I read my Bible pretty much every day. There's occasionally where, frankly, I just don't get around to it. It just doesn't happen. And those days kind of suck, but it does admittedly happen occasionally. But I read my Bible pretty much every day. And that's important. And it's always like, just what a coincidence. It's like the thing that I'm reading that day is pertinent to the things that I'm experiencing that day. Like what a coincidence, right? And so that's important. It's not a lot of time, but I spend time pretty much every day with my wife on this porch. And that's important. Just like touching antennas, you know, where are you at? Where am I at? Where are we at? What do we have going on? What does tomorrow look like? Hey, what are we doing about that thing with that guy with the, you know, like, that's important. I try and be home on the days that I can. I try and be home before my kids get off the bus. So when my kids get off the bus, I'm here. Even if it means we have a few moments of interaction, at least we have a few moments of interaction. So, but that again, like also requires, generally speaking, I'm starting my day earlier than a lot of people do. And so I'm up early. I'm oftentimes texting with Renee at 5 o'clock in the morning about what we did yesterday and what we need to do today and what does the day look like today and blah, blah, blah. And so
We often talk to each other before we talk to our spouses.
yeah, that happens.
Sitting roll over and
sitting in
kiss
the
them.
woods.
Yeah. I'm blessed, but not lucky. And I think that's important to understand. It's not luck that we have what we have. We have what we have because we busted our ass and the Father blesses obedience. And so we're blessed that we have what we have, but it's not luck. It was not luck that we just happened to end up here and happened to murder our debt and happened to be fiscally responsible and happened to take calculated risks and happened to lean into the opportunities that the Father gave us and happened to be obedient. And he just happened to say unequivocally that his word will not return to him void and that he blesses his obedient children. None of that's happenstance, right? And so I'm blessed, not lucky. I'm blessed that I get to walk back into my woods whenever I want to, generally speaking. I can hop on a four-wheeler and just go for a ride. And so oftentimes I do. I have my own little spot. You guys, many of y'all have seen it. In fact, if you're on Patreon, you've seen more of it than anywhere else. Got a little spot back in the woods, and it's a folding chair under a poncho hooch. And that's my spot. And it's cool. Like that's all I need. And I love it. And that's my spot. And so oftentimes I'll go back there. I read my Bible back there. I shoot the occasional video back there. Sometimes I just go back there and think. So, yeah. Good story. Deuteronomy 28.
Somebody wants to know if I was in the military.
If you diligently obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, then you will be blessed. Yep. Peanut butter QRF, my peanut butter whiskey went up $2.
TJ Elton has asked the question twice, but it's
Okay.
been spaced out, not spammed.
Okay.
He wants a backpack recommendation / rucksack. He's broken a few doing the things, and he wants to invest in a quality one with his backpack when it gets here.
Okay. Backpack recommendations.
Backpack rucksack that's durable.
Gosh dang, it depends on what the hell you're doing.
Spec Ops was nice.
Yeah,
I like the
so
grids on that one.
Spec Ops, it's a good company.
And
It's
Condor
not
was
terribly large, but it's a good bag.
And it's USA made.
It's USA made. Crossfire, Australian made, good bag. I now have 2 brothers that have Crossfire rucksacks, and I saw one at Men's Retreat with another brother. They're well-made bags. I've not personally carried one. You know, I've been told all the time Condor is airsoft gear. I've got over 1,000 miles on my Condor 72-hour bag. Their 3-day assault pack. Got over 1,000 miles on that thing from rucking. And
traveling the country.
and yeah, I'm not.
Throwing it in the
It's
truck,
got
you know?
tens of thousands of
Yeah, I was
miles
gonna
being
say,
thrown
like,
around in the truck,
It
but
is
it
rolling around.
it has over 1,000 miles being carried
Yeah.
on my back, and I've had no issues with it. In fact, it still looks like it's like 6 to 12 months old. You having an issue there, brother?
No, I just had to solder some wires and we're good.
Okay, on your end or my end?
My end.
Okay, cool. What is your favorite scripture and why? How do you relate the scripture to now? You know, you hear all the time in the church, what's your life verse, brother? Mine is pretty simple. Exodus 15 verse 3. Yahweh is a warrior, Yahweh is his name. Because it sums up perfectly for me who he is and who we are. Right? He is a warrior and we are fearfully and wonderfully created in his image. We are not made to be soft-handed, soft-spoken, polo-wearing, effeminate beta males. We're made to be warriors. And Yahweh is his name. It's not Baal. It's not the Lord. That's a title. It's not God. It's Yahuwah or Yahweh or Yahweh or whatever it may be. But it speaks to a deeper, more personal relationship than God. Because there's a lot of wishy-washy assholes out there that claim a relationship with God, and you look at them and it's like, yeah, but you don't have any fruit. How am I supposed to tell that you're even like a part of the family when you don't do any of the things that the family does? Like, and it's funny how we understand this in human terms. Like, we all know like what an Italian family looks like, right? Or like what a Latin American family looks like, or what an African American family looks like. Like there's like, or like your typical white suburban family. Like, we all know how these families behave, right? More or less, because people are predictable as hell, right? Families have certain rules.
Mm-hmm.
But then you claim that you're a part of the family, and you look at that person and you're like, you ain't part of the family. It's almost like, so I grew up in New York, right? And a lot of people downstate New York, everybody has a cousin or an uncle that's in the mob, right? Oh yeah, we're in the mafia. And I'm like, no, I knew some of those guys. You're just full of shit. You're not. And so it's, yeah. But I digress.
Sam Peterson said, how do you deal with those Christians who are so anti-tattoo? I've been getting a lot of crap for it lately.
Gosh. Well, first of all, don't make any more marks upon your body. Bear, was you always a follower of the Torah? Negative. I was not. Also, Stalwart Peacekeeper already answered you. I was not. How do you deal with Christians who are anti-tattoo? Well, don't make any more marks upon your body. That's Torah. The ones you already got, I I don't know how many pentagrams tattooed on my body. I've got demons, I've got angels, I've got inverted crosses tattooed on my body from when I played drums in heavy metal bands. So if anybody's gonna get like judged for their tats by Christians, it's probably me. And I have been spit on by Christians in line at the grocery store. Yeah, that's a good testimony. That's a good living witness for other people. That's a way to win somebody. So judge not lest ye be judged, right? Everybody's weird. Some of us wear our weirdness on the outside. Some people keep it buried deep inside. It's one of the things I kind of like about people with tattoos. That you at least get like a read on who they are off the bat. Like from jump, you get to, oh yeah, all right. You got an idea of where you're at, right? But if you're a brother and they're a brother, they can rebuke you, but they don't get to condemn you. So, any thoughts on Utah? It has mountains and Mormons. Those are my thoughts on Utah. So.
Apparently, pretty ladies.
Who's pretty late? Oh, in Utah. I was like, what? I don't get it. Never mind, I get it.
What about piercings? Well, again, Leviticus 19 verse 2. Be set apart as I, Yahweh, your Elohim, am set apart. We all need to be careful that we're not engaging in vanity, that we're not doing things to our bodies that are vain, because that's self-serving, that's a form of idolatry. It's not a form of worship to the Father. And so it's an easy question to ask, but the ramifications are not so easy. Is this thing bringing me closer to the Father or moving me farther away from the Father? And we need to be careful that it's not our opinion alone that informs that conversation. Like, you almost have to split yourself into two people. And objectively, the one person has to objectively look at the other person. They're both you. And ask yourself about yourself. Is this thing going to strengthen my relationship with my Creator, or is it going to weaken my relationship with my Creator? And not what do I think about it, because our hearts are not pure. It's not, if we all did what we thought was a good idea, the world would have already been destroyed by now, I promise you. And if not cataclysmically on a macro level, we all would have at least on a micro level destroyed our own worlds. But what does the Father say about these things? And that comes back to having an intimate relationship and a working knowledge of His Word. What does the Father say about these things? Come on over, man. Pull up a chair. Or you can sit there, you can sit there, you
Picked up the
can,
mic really well.
whatever, wherever you want. And so the question becomes, what does the Father's Word say about this thing? And so, you know, is it a sin to have your ears pierced? No. Is it a sin? Is it sin is transgression of the law? Is it a sin to be, you know, to look like your face got attacked by a hardware store? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. The question is, are you doing it for your reasons, or are you doing it for Yah's reasons? And does Yah want you to, you know, attack your face with a roofing nail gun? I don't know. I don't know. Probably not. Be set apart as I am set apart. Says the guy smoking a cigar on his back porch. And I get it. I understand the hypocrisy in that. And so again, you know, my heart goes out to you on that, because we're all human. We've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of Yah. But you know, does this thing bring you closer? Does it move you farther away from the Father and His will? Pretty simple litmus test. But simple and easy, we conflate simple and easy all the time. You know, it's simple is very rarely easy. It just gives you a clear pathway forward. So.
And none of us are perfect. We all make
No,
mistakes.
none of us are
No.
perfect. but we shouldn't knowingly do something that's wrong, and we shouldn't search out approval. We shouldn't go looking for approval to do things that the spirit and or our gut and or intuition has already told us we shouldn't be doing. Right? Like we don't condone bullshit. Right? And I've heard it said, and most people are right, that you can find a verse for or against anything in the Bible. Yeah, one verse. That's why you're supposed to read it in context. Right? Context really matters. Do you have any children? Yep, sure do. Love them. They're pretty awesome.
Usually if you ask yourself, should I really be doing this?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
No.
If the question is, should I really be doing this? You got to check in your spirit and you should go with it. Is smoking a cigar and relaxing not okay? It depends on who you ask. Your body's a temple, right? If the temple's in here now, what's up, Hacks man? Gotta go. Good evening. Well, shalom, brother. If the temple's in here now, I don't know, because I could make a really facetious answer, be like, well, weren't there burnt offerings inside the temple? And then a bolt of lightning comes out of the sky and kills me dead, right? Like, yeah, if your body's the temple is supposed to be set apart. It's supposed to be holy. It's supposed to be anointed. Be set apart as I am set apart, right? Versus relaxation. Yeah. I don't know. The question really is, have you made an idol out of it? At least to my mind. Because there is no God but God. Right? That's the first command. And so if your cigar smoking has become more important to you than your relationship with Yah, it's a problem. If your face getting attacked by the fifth drawer down on the third aisle of the hardware store is more important to you than your relationship with the Father, that's a problem. If you're drinking or you're whoring, or like whoring's also not okay. There's not a righteous amount of whoring, by the way. Like it's all zero is the righteous amount of whoring, right? Like if any of these things that you're engaged in have become more important to you than your relationship with your Creator, you've now elevated that above Elohim, and that's a problem. And the challenge here is that we as people are really damn good at that. We like stuff, man. Like stuff is cool, like in things, and like, you know, men we're visual, like, and I'm a physical, visceral, tactile dude. I'm like, but did you feel the handle on this axe? It's like, who cares? Like, ultimately, who cares? It's like, that's a badass axe. What's more badass, the axe or the entity that created the man that forged the axe from iron and wood? Right? And I'm like, so we don't worship the creation, we worship the Creator. We don't worship the things that have been made. We're not supposed to worship things. We're supposed to worship the Creator, the one that all things have come from. So, shalom, Sister Kate. Have a blessed evening, sister. And so, you don't want to idolize things. You don't want to put things up on a pedestal. So, hey, Bear Man, have you come to the world, man? I've come to the world, man. What?
I don't know.
How many tabs of acid
Somebody
did you
wants
take,
to know
Roman?
If Phelps is your doppelganger.
So
That's toxic.
in third world countries where they have like 2 or 3 or 12 guys that look like the dictator, that have to taste the vanilla ice cream,
How do you join
Or
our
like,
bag?
right-
You have to be somebody's doppelganger.
or like ride
Phelps,
around,
turn left, I'm turning right.
or like ride around in the convertible, you know.
You're in the armored SUV behind.
Yeah, I ain't even there, man.
Nope.
I'm in Topeka watching Netflix.
We'll measure.
Like, hey, Bear has to do a thing in Tallahassee. Have fun, Bear, too. Go for it.
Blur the camera a little.
He just smokes a cigar, knife hands. It's
Some
like,
smoke screen over your face.
yeah. They quote some scripture, talks about ARs, and people are like, that Bear guy, he's awesome. that. How many times do I have to tell you? Yeah.
One of the other set of doppelganger shoes. Just need some more.
Are my meds
Let's talk
off,
about
or am I
switching
hearing
files.
Right, something.
pirate parrot in the background.
No, that's a bullfrog.
It's a frog.
It's
Yeah.
a frog.
A
It's
pirate
tiny.
parrot?
Yeah,
also
you
keep-
did it. I can't do it. Yeah.
Oh,
That.
that.
People also keep imagining they hear Yankee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
he's
you,
not here.
though.
it's me.
He's not here.
It's you?
No, I think it's the
People
frogs.
think you.
I think it's the frogs.
It's a
They're
pirate.
laughing.
The frogs are talking about cannons.
The pirate frog.
That's what's going on here.
I think there are goats, there are chickens, there are frogs, there are sheep, there's all kinds of
Cows.
noises.
Yeah.
Cows, like
Yeah, I love the noises.
multiple people.
Like, the country is a noisy place, but it's just a different kind of noise. It's not ambulances and cars and traffic and neighbors' dogs. Well, I mean, there are neighbors' dogs, but, you know, neighborhood dogs all going off right in your backyard. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
Yes,
a different
Chris
kind of
Fisher.
noise, but it's
Yeah.
like a peaceful noise.
it is. I mean, the slightest
Bad
bit
weather,
of
pirate frogs.
slightest bit
Frogs are
of
not
rain
peaceful
or
ones.
ice melt, and I've got this like babbling brook next to where
Uh-huh.
I
Right.
sleep. Like it's better than any sound machine you can buy off Amazon.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember
It's real life.
you said that about a year ago.
I did.
You're like, I can't believe people buy machines to make these noises,
Right.
Yeah.
and it's 8 feet from my head. It's like, that's awesome, man.
sometimes it's
Yep.
Somebody said, Barry, have you thought about writing a book? I've thought about a lot of things. A book is one of them. Currently, right now, what we're trying to do is keep people from dying with first aid kits. Come on, yeah, it's not impossible, but it's not really in the cards right now because writing takes time, and time is not something that, based upon my current priorities, I have a lot of for other things.
I feel like that's a retirement thing.
I would need to take a serious sabbatical.
Yeah.
And like, I would need to disappear for a year in
All
a
the things you're
cabin.
good at,
It's
that's
not.
not one of them.
Yeah, sitting still and writing.
No.
Yeah, that's gonna be
If
great.
he
Pretty
could-
sure
if he
we
could
used
just
to actually
dictate it
try
to
to put that on a
Yep.
while
calendar.
he's
Yeah.
going about
There
his
was a
business.
time that there was like sabbatical month,
Mhm.
Yes, there
and
was.
literally we would be like, "Hey, aren't we supposed to do less this month than last
Yeah,
month?"
we
'cause
gave
it's
up on that,
sabbatical
didn't
month?"
we?
We straight up gave up. You know,
it was
it's-
pretty funny. The
it's-
amount
Had
of
one of those
stuff
in a
that
while.
happened on sabbatical month.
it's funny you bring that up because it never worked ever,
Mm-mm.
not once. In fact, you're right. There was
It
like,
was like
more busy.
Yeah,
It
and
was
then we'd be like,
more
well, if we
busy.
just scooted a week, if we just like scooted another week, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, we have the feasts, we have Shabbats.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like
What
that's
would
not
Bear
how it
Nation
should
do
be
without
fast.
you?
It was all pre-recorded. I'd be like,
sabbatical months.
I'd be like, hey guys, it's the 10th of March. They'd be like, there's 4 foot of snow on the ground, like, and you clearly haven't trimmed your beard.
I
Like,
was
what's
gonna
going
say,
on?
We've had that conversation recently of like, hey, don't be trimming and cutting things and
Yeah, you can't get too much pre-recorded
too
content in the
pre-recorded
bag.
content.
Yeah, and then it's like,
Well, the
Green
world
screen.
ended.
yeah,
Green
it's
screen.
it's summer 2022, and there's still snow on the ground. It's like there's
It's
still an ice
Oklahoma.
storm in Oklahoma. What's
I'm
going
pretty sure
on?
it's supposed to snow tomorrow.
you,
and
Bad
it's 70
Rabbit.
today.
Bad weather. That's a
Said,
cool.
Wow, the
human.
porch looks so good.
Oh
The
yeah.
porch is really cool.
Ami's. She's been working on that. So.
I got 2 more pieces to do.
So, Shalom, Arkansas, living. If you put me in a cabin alone for a month, I will have built another cabin next to that one.
With his bare hands.
Yeah.
No axe. No knife.
Like it's, I don't know what I would do. But I love the idea of the cabin. Like it sounds super peaceful. And well, in fact,
Wait,
I-
would you be locked in a library cabin?
a library cabin sounds good.
Yeah.
But like, so EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprogramming, right? It's like a way for dealing
They
with.
can't be together.
It's a way for like dealing with like traumatic experiences and all of that. It's a therapy method. So if your brain has been jacked with, you go see a guy who knows or a girl that knows EMDR stuff. And I've done this on occasion. And frankly, it's like life-saving. It's good stuff. And so like your first meeting, your first session, you have to like make your safe space, right? And so the guy's like, all right, are you more of a beach person or a mountain person? I'm like, dude, mountain all the way. He's like, all right, let's go to a mountain. What do you see? And I'm like, there's trees, there's a cabin, there's a little two-track road that goes up to the cabin. He goes, cool, tell me about the cabin. I'm like, there's smoke, you know, it's late fall, early winter, there's smoke coming out of the chimney. And he's like, awesome, let's go inside the cabin. So we go inside the cabin. He's like, what do you see? I'm like, there's a bed, there's a table, there's this, there's that. He goes, cool, what are you doing? I said, I'm cutting wood. And he goes, you can't cut wood at your safe space. And I said, I gotta cut wood. The fire's gonna go out. And he goes, no, there's all the wood. There's all the wood you could possibly need. What are you doing now? I said, I'm sitting at the table. He goes, okay, what are you doing at the table? I said, I'm working. He goes, no, you can't work in your safe space. I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? He's like, I don't know, it's your safe space. What do you want to do? And I'm like, I want to cut the wood for the fire. And he's like, he stops the session. He goes, you are a classic workaholic. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, and he was like shaking his head. He goes, wants to cut wood at his safe space. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good time to me.
I feel like I need to figure this out. I wouldn't be cutting wood,
you'd be doing something.
but I'd be doing something.
Yeah.
So
You would
there's
have some-
sovereignty. You need to have the idea of a cabin and then all the tools.
Yeah,
into a
exactly.
single way.
Exactly. I need like a bracing bit and a draw knife
Yep.
Yeah.
and a couple of different axes and a fro and a crosscut saw.
Here's the wood. Build a cabin. Have
Yeah,
fun.
pretty much. Yeah, I just need some iron implements and I don't know, some water maybe, or like a Sawyer Mini, like
Right.
in something.
Uh-huh.
I'm
And then
good.
just tell you that there's 100,000 volt fence around this 25 acres. So you have 25 acres of woodland.
Right.
Make a cabin,
I feel like isn't that like how Jurassic Park worked?
pretty much.
They're like you can't get through the fence, it'll kill you.
That's
Didn't
it.
turn out so well.
All right, just checking. You know me and my recall on movies. I don't know. So, don't forget Kathy Bates. Ugh.
Ugh.
Dude, in Misery, when she like
Oh.
clubs that dude's feet over in the bed, that was the first time, just from like a simulated injury, I was like,
Oh yeah.
oh my gosh, that's terrible. Terrible.
Going nowhere.
You're not going anywhere. Thank you, B. Hughes. Appreciate you. As a wrongly convicted felon trying to run a family, I agree 100%. Thank you, Kerf. Tato is in the house. Hey, what's up, Devin?
Bye, Emma.
Bear, think you should stone to death witches, but adultery is okay? Who the hell said that? Ambien223? Ambien223, you've clearly taken several Ambien while drinking some alcohol. Nobody said adultery was okay. So,
No, they got the exact opposite of that. It was not okay.
oh,
Everybody, like,
good.
was a chat
They've
a while
been
ago.
pounced on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Mama Panda wants to do it with JS Badger. Oh no, that's why I want to do it at JS Badger. Okay, that's good.
Hold on,
'Cause
I know both of
Don't
them.
be getting Badger in trouble.
I'm just joking. Beard growing tips: don't cut it.
That's a good start.
There
Yeah.
you go. I started EMDR as a hermit in a valley made of all my own stuff. Had my own river, forest, farm, animals, garden, and orchards. I kept washing the friggin' dishes. Grr. Yeah, I feel you on that, man.
It's good. Hermits have no peer pressure.
Have you ever checked out Mike Glover's Fieldcraft Survival Kits? I have not. I've not checked out those kits. Be interested to see one though. We should probably get one at some point.
I think you actually have. In the beginning, it was like very early.
I checked out Fieldcraft.
A Fieldcraft survival.
I think you did also, but it's been
Yeah.
Years.
I don't think so.
And
Shall we see?
What was it?
it was like a backpack with this whole.
No,
Sleeve
that's not
thing.
his, is it?
I'm pretty sure it's.
No, I thought that was no.
I could be wrong.
That was a different company. If that was them, they should be ashamed of themselves. That was terrible. That bag was terrible. No, that couldn't have been Fieldcraft. Because Glover knows his stuff. That was like the 72 bug out bag. That's what that was called. Let's see. Everybody's
I
Googling
know,
furiously
I know.
now.
I'm looking at the comments.
72 bug.
But I think
Out.
the final consensus was just build your own.
Yeah. That's Uncharted Supply Co.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Uncharted Supply Co. They're the I can't slander in LaShawn Hurrah. Okay.
Sam is huge.
We'll just say
Go
when
watch the video.
Don't know where he is.
we'll just say when it comes to Uncharted Supply Co. Yeah, just build your own. Just build your own.
Did I win?
You know what? Hold on.
asparagus
I don't
swag?
care if they sue me. Their shit sucks. Don't spend money on it. It's terrible.
Gosh, it's been like 2 hours since we had this conversation.
Well, fine. If I get it wrong, I'll apologize to them too. But I actually have one of those things, or had one. We gave it away to a patron years ago. It was not good. So,
That's why they love you.
yeah.
It is.
You did there, but
It's bear being
We
bear.
apologize to that patron that got it.
Shabba-dabba-da. Hopefully, SHTF holds off until the Megadeth concert in Nashville next month. You know, Chris Spivey, I really hope it does. Just for that reason right there, I
That'd be
really
a good
hope
concert.
it does.
That'd be a
Hell
good
yeah.
concert.
Megadeth in Nashville?
Yeah.
I'm thinking road trip, man. That sounds like a blast. Come on. Come on. That'd be awesome. I've been listening to a lot more Megadeth here lately.
We
Is
should
my
schedule
real name
training
Mommy?
around concerts.
No, her real name's not Hami.
No.
But it's close.
It's close to that.
It's so close.
Bear,
Symphony of
Grow a
Destruction.
tactical man bun.
Why would I grow a man bun?
Well,
I'm actually-
Tactical
if
man
All
bun.
my
everybody
hair
knows
is
we're allowed
migrating
to
from the
Is that like
top
a
of my head
proper
to the
sentence?
bottom of my head. I actually have a pretty
Actually
sweet
say
bald
tactical
spot going
man
back
bun.
here, and one starting right here. So,
Yeah.
you know, like, but here's the thing. It's
You could grow it out. We could like.
It's
make
due to
it
an-
a
Just
honey
paint your
bun.
beard.
yeah, a honey bun.
Like a
That's
honey
a
bun.
that's a great idea. I could get a
Beard bun.
weave.
Yeah. We'll just cover all
Just
your bald spots.
do a weave right here, like a honey bun,
Mhm.
like the
Like a
single.
Princess Leia.
I was just gonna say, just a
but,
single
like,
Princess
just on
Leia,
the
just
top
right
of
on
your
top.
head. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it
Okay.
for science.
Or you can grow it out, do some cornrows.
Dude, there's no way. Could you imagine trying to put a helmet on with like a Princess Leia bun on top of your head? Be terrible, like right here. No, it's I have an
It won't show
excess
up
of
a single
testosterone, which is why apparently I'm experiencing male pattern baldness.
You won't need that chin strap.
Won't need the chin strap.
Here's
I'm
the
not gonna
deal.
lie. If your ear pro's on good and tight, holding your helmet in place, it does a lot of what the chin strap should do for you. But still, somebody out there make a chin strap for a helmet that doesn't suck if you have a beard.
If I was had a good one.
Maurice said just grow a unibrow and comb it back.
Ooh, that's a good idea. But okay, so with the chin strap as well, right? Like you gotta also understand whoever's making the chin strap that 4 beards, because it's 4 beards, right? If you use the loop side of Velcro, it also sticks to beards,
Yeah.
and so you can use that to help position, right, as well. Because no, it works.
Making
Don't
someone
laugh at me,
$1 million.
tactically Tor. I mean, look.
We'll make it someone $1 million.
You never had a medic mustache before?
Mhm.
Like, it
Be
works.
Like a walking billboard. Just cover it and.
We actually talked about
Gotcha.
that at one time, like how much to sponsor a live stream, and Bear would just wear your patch
Mhm.
in my beard the whole live stream.
Right.
Like this
Or,
live
like
stream
putting the answers to the most frequently asked questions on a live stream in patch form.
On your beard?
And then you could just slap it when somebody asks.
That's a good idea. I just tell people my hair fell through my face. I like it.
Dave 7 had a funny one. Why does Sam have a low voice, but we all have ones that sound like Mickey Mouse to you?
I saw that one too.
Because I've seen Sam kill shit, and the jury is out on the rest of y'all. That's why. That's why.
I would bet my voice is very high if I was killing somebody.
Your voice? I think so
Yeah,
too.
you're gonna be shrieky.
I was-
can
I will
see
kill
it.
them, but it'll be shrieky.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
Get
your hands in the air.
Realize who's dying.
Wait, like you just don't care.
I'm gonna go shower.
Okay.
Good idea. The internet can smell you.
Better go down.
Such a butthead.
Me and my 15-year-old is kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If
she's a 15-year-old girl and I'm me.
She's a
So.
15-year-old girl, so pretty
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
you can't win that one.
No.
I'm not looking
She's on the opposite end of the spectrum of other 15-year-old girls. So.
Yeah, that's probably why she's still alive. So, Bear, do you like the band The Scorpions? I mean, they're okay. I really like Camacho Scorpions, though, as evidenced by these.
Is it Scorpions who had the really hot like lead singer? Who was that?
The really hot lead singer?
Yes.
I have no idea.
The blonde.
The blonde?
The blonde guy.
Is that the Here I Am, Rock You Like a Hurricane
Rock You Like a
people?
Hurricane. Yeah.
Yep, alright.
Yeah.
Tactically, Tora knows. Like, there was not a moment
Yeah,
of
I like
hesitation.
I've played so many Scorpion songs on guitar over the years.
I know.
Okay, roger that.
Yeah.
Probably forgot more of them.
He was like blue-eyed and dreamy.
Sure.
I don't know if that was
I can't tell you
Scorpions.
that. I just know the
I
guitar.
think that was the Scorpions.
Maybe Whitesnake.
No.
No, it's totally.
No.
Bear, what cigar are you smoking? This one currently is a Cigars International knockoff of a Romeo y Julieta Torpedo.
Are those actually pretty good?
They're excellent.
It's not
They're
for me.
really
I have a
good.
cob oven. No, I have a freeze dryer.
So not, you know,
Different people.
not everything, like, they can't all be $10, $15 sticks, right?
Yeah.
And so, Steel Panther, nice, Devin. So these are like $2.50 a stick, and they're really good. They're, in my opinion, as good as a Romeo y Julieta. So for a fifth the price, I'll take it. So
Austin had a good question about training. That he said, Bear, how would the level of training of your responder 1 through 3 classes compare to the wilderness first responder? They're different, so it's. I figured that might be a good question to answer.
our wilderness first responder or somebody else's wilderness
A
first responder?
wilderness first responder class versus our essential responders. Basically, what they're asking.
The essential responder, yeah, they're just different. That's a lot of twitching in the woods.
It's a lot of
And it can be done. So the essential responder, you're gonna do stop the bleed protocol, march algorithm, situational awareness, talk about CASEVAC, talk about triage, talk about mindset, and get a bunch of reps in on using your tourniquet and pressure bandages and wound packing. Then responder 2 adds CPR and AED into that, and then responder 3 gets you a metric F ton of reps with tourniquets and pressure bandages and wound packing, nasopharyngeal airway, tension pneumothorax, open pneumothorax, closed pneumothorax, signs of shock, how to deal, you know, just a whole bunch of stuff. Then adds in force on force with blue guns, in scenario-based training where you have to not only neutralize threats but render medical aid to yourself and to others while maintaining situational awareness and affecting CASEVAC. And the essential responder is all of that over a 2-day course. It's about a 20-hour course of instruction, 10 hours the first day, 10 hours the second day. And we've been told by a lot of people, this is basically an excellent abbreviated combat lifesaver course. And that's the responder 1, not the essential responder. So it's an awesome program. Wilderness medicine, you're gonna deal, there's a lot of improvised tourniquets, which I hate. Yes, you should know how to improvise a tourniquet. You should also have a damn tourniquet in your pocket. If you're gonna go out into the wilderness, put a tourniquet in your bag. Like life number 34 was saved because, and the dude used basically everything in an adventure kit to save the guy's life.
Everything.
And so, like, at basically everything in an adventure kit to save the guy's life. And so you're like, well, I brought a triangle bandage and I was able to cut a stick with my silky Gomboy 210 to use as a windlass. Oh, he's dead. Oops. Like, just put a damn tourniquet in the bag. And so, that being said, it doesn't mean that there aren't some positives to being able to understand how to improvise, but as we teach in class, a plan to improvise is a plan to fail. I'd rather have purpose-built equipment. Yes, you could probably kill an intruder with a crossbow, I'd rather have an AR-10, right? And so I'd rather have a purpose-built piece of equipment for it than some cutesy thing that I bushcrafted or whatever. But you're also going to look at things like broken bones, sprains, exposure, dehydration in wilderness medicine, to a lesser extent probably head injuries, ascertaining, we talk about head injuries in the responder 1 and the responder 3 for the sake of talking about indications and contraindications of a nasopharyngeal airway and when to apply one, and the difference between a naso and an oropharyngeal airway, and so forth and so on, basically maintaining a patent airway. A lot of times in wilderness medicine, they're still teaching the ABCs, airway, breathing, and circulation. And we know that ABCs are not where it's at anymore. It's the March algorithm, because it doesn't matter how patent our airway is if the blood that carries the oxygen is spilling out of somebody. It doesn't matter if they're breathing or not if there's no blood inside the body to carry the oxygen that they're not respirating currently. And so it's
So what
just...
do you need for oxygen is blood?
Yeah, the blood is an oxygen delivery device, and so they're just, it doesn't mean that there's not value to it. For example, one of the more valuable things that you could get out of wilderness training is how do you evacuate a casualty in the woods and move them over great distances. I can tell you from experience that a North American Rescue quick litter is good for dragging a body 1 mile. Dragging, not carrying. If you had to drag it, it's good for 1 mile. How do I know? We train with our shit, which is how we're able to talk to you about it. But if you had to improvise a stretcher, what does that look like? Maybe it's a good idea to have 30 or 40 foot of nylon webbing or nylon tube with you. Or maybe it's a good idea to have a quick litter folded up in your pack, your medical bag, that you can just run some poles through the handles and use that as a stretcher. There's a lot you can learn from wilderness medicine, but I would say for the vast majority of people, wilderness medicine, while it's a lot of fun. Like if you're me, if you nerd out on stuff like that, it's a lot of fun. It's probably less applicable for the mom that drives the minivan with the kids that got to go to soccer, or the dad who's leaving the office so he can get home in time for t-ball, or the truck driver, or the small business owner, or the school principal, or the whoever, your standard strata of human beings. Wilderness medicine is less applicable. If you do a lot of hiking and kayaking and off-roading and you're in remote places by yourself, it might make sense to take a class like that. But the Responder 1, Responder 2, and Responder 3 is all stuff that's covered by the Good Samaritan Act, which means it's applicable in North America all the time. It's applicable on planet Earth, but you're allowed to legally use it to save somebody's life in the United States of America. So, yeah.
I'd like to add to that
How dare you?
yeah, you hit everything I was going to in regards to the fact that we gear the scenarios and everything in Responder 3 towards what is most likely to be applicable in the majority of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then wilderness medicine, even a good wilderness medicine course, typically doesn't delve into as much detail on the immediate treatments for traumatic injury as they do in sustainment. They go a little bit deeper into sustainment so that you can evac them. We go deeper into immediate response, hence the reason we call it the responder course.
Thank you, Brother Phelps. If it's for carry, you may want a compact or subcompact pistol. Depends on what you're carrying. Can't comment, come on, dudes. We see your comment. Good talk, Bear Nation, good talk. You guys are great. Thanks for the chat. Until next time, Bear Nation. Nibrak Noel, shalom. Anyone got an idea of how long meat lasts in a deep freezer? What's the timeline to cycle it?
6 months.
6 months to a
Depends on how
year.
it's packed, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how it's packed. Like vacuum sealed.
Vacuum sealed.
Good. Yeah, forever. Essentially.
It gets
weird. It doesn't
It
get
How's the
that
cigar
weird.
sent you? It was good. I was wearing your hat earlier today, the luxurious bastard.
What was that beard? That thing they call the bottom, they do.
By the way, if you want your beard to be luxurious, the luxurious bastard has generously given us a promo code of Bear Independent. And so if you have a beard, or if you have a bearded man in your life, or if you're an unfortunately bearded woman and you need some pomade for your face, the luxurious bastard promo code Bear Independent.
What was that one that you liked?
Are you okay over there,
What
honey?
was her favorite? Her favorite was Viking.
She liked the Viking
The
one
Viking.
a
The
lot.
Viking one.
A lot.
I
She liked the
sniffed
Viking
him a
one.
lot.
Yeah, she sniffed it a lot.
They send a bunch of beard oil and like pomade for his beard. Luxurious stuff.
The luxurious bastard beard care.
But they made like a bear blend.
That's cool.
Any thoughts on salvaging fresh roadkill? How about we don't do that? So
Some sheep and chickens.
yeah, just and let's put a fence in your yard and put sheep in it. How long is pasta good past the expiration date? As long as there's no bugs in it and it's dry forever.
Yeah. People think expiration dates mean that like it just goes bad.
Yeah.
Expiration dates more means it starts to lose nutrients.
Yeah.
And most food, if you open it and it doesn't look edible, don't eat it.
Mhm.
Like
Good
if you
rule.
open a can and you're like it goes, like it makes a weird noise like that, don't eat it. And if you're picking meat out of the
smell it.
If it
freezer
smells
and
rancid,
you
don't
defrost
eat
it and it's gray and like weird dried out, don't eat it. But if it looks like a steak, you can still eat it. Like it doesn't explode at the expiration date.
Well, the other thing there too is like human beings have this like mitochondrial DNA that gave us these wonderful instincts. Which like that's not food. And if you're ever thinking like I'm gonna, oh I know it's a possum but it got run over by the Peterbilt and it's still half good. If we boil it for 14 hours and put it on low on the smoker, it'll taste delicious. That's not food. You don't have to do that to food. Like that's not how that works.
Yeah.
So.
And again, if you're questioning it,
Hey,
more
can I
likely
have
the
some
answer
of
is
that?
no.
What do you mean no? Come on.
Look, get some first.
Oh, I didn't know she
What's she
didn't have
getting?
any yet.
Your peanut
I'm not
butter.
gonna chug the whole bottle.
I am.
Get some.
You am?
She will.
Oh man.
Dude, if you chug the whole bottle, props.
Well, no, more like prop me up on the way to the hospital, or just get Dudley over here to
Fall through
punch
the
me in the
screen.
stomach.
I'll put the camera over and I'll finish the live stream.
I'll be sleeping here tonight.
I'll have my doppelganger pound this, but you know how it goes.
You start, we'll pass to him, and he finishes it. Pass it back to you.
Dudley
Done.
punched me in the stomach. Sorry, bro. Just the thought of that hurt.
Yeah,
Just the idea of like Dudley unequivocally punching you in the stomach.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like no, you just hands back, just take it.
No,
I'm
I'm
dead.
Oh,
gonna be sore tomorrow.
kiss your
thinking
ribs
about it.
goodbye, right?
Yeah.
That's like a
Kiss your
kid.
spine goodbye.
That time you puked up your kidneys?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was because you let Dudley punch you in the gut.
Just instantly crap yourself.
So good.
His idea.
It is. It's when it's cold too.
Yeah.
Is it still cold?
Was it in the freezer?
And keep it in the freezer.
Should I put it in the blankie so it stays cold?
It's yours now.
Why is it mine now? Because I put my lips on it? Because we don't use alcohol to cleanse things? Because Tito's Vodka wasn't making hand sanitizer during the scamdemic?
Your lips are very cleansed now.
Bro, don't talk about my lips with all these witnesses here. Wood gasification, Nunya. Yes, I think so. I know 2.5% of what there is to know about wood gasification, but I think it's super cool. Like that's one of those things. If you could get a wood gasifier going, like on my truck, because it's a gas motor, and I'm surrounded by wood, that'd be awesome. Be like, what's your plan for SHTF? Old pallets and tree limbs, like I don't know,
Pallets from Uline.
cigar boxes. You know, my truck runs on Camacho boxes. Like that'd be awesome. Yeah, that's true. We get enough pallets from Uline.
We can build Phelps a house.
We're gonna build Phelps the cabin with U-line pallets.
Yep.
We could we could get Storms to do rammed earth in buckets from U-line.
True.
Done, and we could build
All
a
U-line.
porch out of pallets. We could put some anti-gravity chairs on the porch
Because
from
we got it
U-line.
for free from all the buckets that we
Yeah,
bought from
exact,
U-line.
perfect. The new bucket campaign: buy a bucket, give a bucket. You get a Refuge Medical Wound Care bucket, and Phelps gets 1 bucket for the wall of his cabin.
Buy a bucket, give a pallet.
Buy a bucket,
give a pallet.
There you go. I'm getting my freeze dryer Tuesday! Exclamation points.
Nice.
Awesome. Who's that? High Flyer 131. Awesome. Good job. Somebody told me Balvenie 15-year-old single barrel sherry cask was good. They were right. Yes, Craig. Right. Craig Young. I've never had anything from Balvenie that wasn't wonderful. That's a great company. The K9 kit should be replaced for all roadkill lives saved. No.
No.
We don't save roadkill. Wondering how you're feeling a few weeks after leg pressing a skid steer. Well, you know, so interesting. Leg pressing the skid steer, I was a little baby giraffe legged for a couple of days after that, which is understandable. But really, when we were leaving Kentucky, I was loading the skid steer onto the equipment trailer, and it was 9 degrees and ice storming. And I slipped off of the skid steer and smashed my head into the side of the skid steer and tore something in my left knee and something in my right ankle and cracked a couple of ribs on my upper right side. And all of that still feels great right now. Like, it just feels awesome. So,
But you had a
Like
cigar.
2 months ago.
yeah. Well, it's just ribs and knees, which luckily thus far I've sustained 0 injuries to my entire life.
Good job.
Like, it was in pristine condition
Sure.
before now.
Like your sternum?
Like my sternum, yeah,
Or your fingers or your...
intact-ish ? Asterisk. So, like, I'm still feeling the effects of that, but leg pressing the skid steer, you know, bro, you know how it is. Just lift heavy things like Caterpillar heavy equipment. So, what's your opinion on Arkhaven? I know nothing about Arkhaven. Never been there. Don't know people that run it. All I know is what I heard on Pastor Joe videos. So.
Go. Go. Go.
I'm gonna kill it. Best whoopee? The one you have, preferably Marpat. Thanks for the honest opinion. You're welcome. I had to go pee. What did I miss? What's up, McMikey? Recap, please. We talked about leg pressing skid steers. Arkhaven got money, yo. If so, do it to it. Just my half cent. That doesn't make any sense,
Do
Jimmy
people
James.
give half cents? Is that really what?
Bear, what's your opinion on suppressors for SHTF? Do you even carry telephone poles, bro? I do carry telephone poles. I think I've shown you this picture before. It's a thing.
I have it on my phone. You need it?
So suppressors for SHTF? Maybe.
Telephone pole.
So if you're using a suppressor, so here's the thing. Like when we train, one of the things we talk about is it's time to be quiet until it's time to be loud.
Oh, that was a gazebo
Okay?
bowl.
And then
Sorry.
when it's time to be loud, be loud. Be loud. Use your big boy voice. Speak from the diaphragm. Yell. Let people know what's up. When it's time to be loud, it's time to be loud. And so until that point, like, yeah, being quiet is good. But suppressors don't make weapons like silent. They just make them less obnoxious when you shoot them. And so,
Yeah, like 135 dB is not quiet.
yeah. So here's a picture of me with a power pole on my shoulder, because I do those things occasionally. Okay? So when I'm like, yo, dude, log PT, yeah, that's what I mean.
Apparently, I got the gazebo pole.
You got the gazebo pole? Oh yeah, you got another one there? There's another one of me carrying another pole on my shoulder. This is just a thing I do, apparently. Like, thanks, Bo. So, it's time to be quiet until it's time to be loud. When it's time to be loud, your suppressor's probably not going to matter all that much. That being said, there's definitely benefits to using suppressors. You can maintain your ears. There's a signature reduction, especially when shooting at night. If you're shooting at night, whether you're aiming passively or aiming actively, there's a lot to be said for the use of a suppressor. And so I'm not discounting it, other than the moment you press that trigger, it's loud time now.
So, question on that.
Yeah, send it tactically, Tora.
So I've actually not had the opportunity to even utilize a suppressor in any situation.
Okay.
I've heard it said that when you do fire a suppressor, the benefits of it is that it could mitigate essentially the crack, which is what gives off your location, so to speak. Is there any legitimacy to that?
It depends on the round you're firing and the suppressor. If you're shooting a subsonic round,
Sure.
meaning that it's lower than the speed of sound, then what you're not getting that crack. And so yes, that is legitimate. If you're shooting something like a 300 blackout suppressed with subsonic ammo, then absolutely, that's legitimate.
If it's subsonic ammo, you don't get the crack whether it's suppressed or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But say you're shooting.
The bang from the gun
Yeah.
is what you're talking about, which depends on the suppressor. Some mini suppressors, especially older suppressors, suffered from they call the first pop. The first round, it's cold air in the suppressor, and it would still make a louder noise. And the second round was at the more reduced.
Yep. So there's benefits to suppressors. Do you need one for SHTF? No. Says me. If you have one, it doesn't make you wrong. That's okay. And if you've done all the other things, man, you're killing it, and you want a suppressor, okay, go for it. And I have friends that have lots of suppressors, but you don't necessarily have to have one. They can make shooting more enjoyable. They do, yeah. Or like Liam said, use a crossbow. Well, I don't live in Great Britain, so I'm allowed to have firearms. So sorry, Liam. A throwing knife, or a hatchet, or whatever. Sledgehammer, melee weapons, Braveheart, freedom, yada yada yada. But anyway.
You're using a crossbow. You better be accurate on your first shot.
Bro, okay, and that's the thing. Like, you've got to be really good with the crossbow. Yeah. All the time, people are like, they have an effective range of 85 yards. I'm like, my cheapest AR has an effective range of 500 yards. Like, 6 times your crossbow.
You gotta get fairly close.
With a crossbow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any kind of bow.
Well, that's when people are like, well, I'll ambush people.
You gotta remember who we're talking
with
to.
a crossbow?
What is that move that, I can't remember what the name of it is. Come up behind them, you hand over the mouth, stick a knife in the collarbone, and then you sever their carotid and cut their lung off at the same time.
Yeah.
That's called an assassination.
I mean, you gotta think about
video
pockets,
games.
like, we're talking.
I make fun of her little knife all the time.
Every single one of these guys is John J. Rambo.
Exactly.
Yep, I forgot.
Yeah.
So, speaking of subsonic rounds, I have a girlfriend looking into getting a pistol. Was looking at them as training rounds since it has less kickback. Good or bad idea? No, absolutely not. Teach her how to shoot the weapon the way that it is, and don't get into gimmicks with that kind of stuff. So it's called recoil, not kickback. So, and I mean that in love, okay? But it's recoil. Learn to shoot the weapon. Because if she trains with really weak rounds and then she has to shoot it for real with defensive rounds, and guess what's going to happen? She's going to freeze up because she's never shot the weapon that way before. David used a rock. Yes, David did use a rock. And my guess is if David had a Glock, he would have just used the Glock instead. So, a suppressed crossbow. Oh my gosh. Thoughts on magnetic pole shift? Yes, it's a real thing. Suspicious observers. What's up, Ben? Hello from West Virginia. Hello from Oklahoma. I've spent a lot of time in West Virginia, though. I have some fond and not so fond memories around Mount Storm, West Virginia. If you've ever seen those giant fan things up there in the mountains, you're welcome.
Oh, was that the helicopter story?
Yep. Yep.
See, I've heard all the stories.
Couldn't she
We
use
heard a new
tumble
story
upon
the other day
impact
that was
ammo?
like, I didn't hear that
She could
story
use
before.
lots of things. You know what I would recommend? 147 grain jacketed hollow points. You know why? They work. And all of that said, what I would really recommend is that you teach her how to shoot a rifle and then give her one so that if she has to use her pistol, she can fire her way to the rifle that she should have had in the first place. So,
R7's funny.
DIY gas mask? What? Yeah, get the hose off of your vacuum, put it in your mouth, and then wrap your face with saran wrap over and over and over again.
Turn on the vacuum.
What?
HEPA filter.
But it has to be one of the vacuums with a bag,
It's like those
right? And
lacy
so you,
face masks. The ones with the lace.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So you can obey the law with your lace.
Yeah.
Take a G-string and put it on your face.
y'all are breaking me. The Dunning-Kruger effect is
It's that
rampant
time
through
of
some
night.
preparedness circles. Bible question:
You should
how does
practice
being
when you
unclean
come
fit
back.
with Christ being our sacrificial lamb?
You should
And the
practice
temple
when you
not
come back.
going right now, are we unclean for the time set or until we ask for forgiveness? No, you're made clean by his atoning sacrifice. So the here's the thing. When you admit, all right,
Here we go.
how much Torah can I teach about Messiah at a cursory level so that you'll understand this? When you're redeemed, there's a Torah for this, for redemption. When you are redeemed, you come into the house of your master. You are redeemed to Messiah, to Yeshua, to Jesus, right? And so you come into the house of the master. At that time, you're now redeemed to him. You've been bought and paid for a price, in this case, his blood. So you are indentured to him to walk in his ways, 1 Peter 2:21. At that time, who you were doesn't exist anymore. That person's dead. And so you repent when you confess your love for the master. As a servant, you're brought to the doorpost of the house to confess your love for your master. When you do that, at the doorpost, they have the 10 Commandments on the door, right there on the doorpost, posted. And so you're confessing your love for the master, that you want to stay in his house forever and serve the master, in this case being Yeshua. And so that relationship now becomes the defining moment of your life, and the person that you were is now dead. So you don't need to worry about who you were anymore. The only person who cares about who you were is you and the enemy. That's it. Yeshua doesn't care. Yeshua is Jesus and Messiah. Use whatever terms you want. He doesn't care. The Father doesn't care. Bought and paid for, cleared, good to go, handled. Comma. Now that you're in the household, now that you're part of the family, you don't get to mess around and do the things that you used to do before you were part of the family. You have to conduct yourself appropriately, aka don't sin. And sin is lawlessness. New Testament translation, 1 John 3 verse 4, sin is lawlessness, and all who do sin do lawlessness. And so you were redeemed from your sin, from your lawlessness. You were bought so you wouldn't do that shit anymore. And now that you came into the family, you came into the house where we don't do that shit, so now you're not supposed to do that shit anymore. And so you're forgiven. You need to understand that you're forgiven, and you need to walk in those ways. Walk as Messiah walked. All this is New Testament, by the way, other than the concept of servitude and coming into the household, which is taught in the Old Testament but is reinforced in the New Testament. But see, people miss this in the Christian church. They're like, I've been redeemed. Turns out that's not the first time you see that in the Bible. It's not in the New Testament. It's Old Testament. So please advise, extended family does not dig the idea of being prepared. They leave everything in the hands of God. Abraham was a man of faith, but also a warrior. No. Shepherd dog. I have an entire video. I have done 3 videos on this in the last month on Patreon. Long and short, if the entire extended family doesn't want the covering you're trying to put over them, you don't have a responsibility to put that covering over them. You can tell them that they should do these things. If they disagree with you, too bad, so sad. Take responsibility for the things that you can affect positive change on, and you're not responsible for them. So, there you go. You're not responsible for them. You're responsible for your wife and your children. If you choose to extend your covering over them, so be it, but you're not actually responsible for them. And if they don't want that covering, then why are you extending that covering? Noah prepped for the great flood. Yeah, because Yah told him to. Joseph was a prepper, 7 years of fat, 7 years of lean. Abraham was a warrior. Abraham was a prince of Elohim, he's referred to by the sons of Hamor. Abraham was a badass. He's the archetype, the father, the founder of 3 world religions, and the one that the Father, Yahweh or Elohim, the Lord our God, makes his covenant with. And then all the covenants that come after that stack on top of that. House of Lamar said, and he was black. Cool. That matters a whole bunch. I'm really glad that Abraham... Hey guys, did you know Abraham was black?
Who cares?
I care a lot. I mean, I just found this out. I'm pretty stoked. That's cool.
How about that?
Because when I think black names, Abraham is at the top of the list. By the way, his name was Abram, and then it was renamed to Avraham, because that's what I think about all the time.
He wasn't an English white boy.
You mean he was our brother?
He was a brother.
He was a brother.
He was a brother. So, okay, House of Lamar cares. That's cool. Thanks, Lamar. Abraham rescued Lot. Yes, he did. He was probably
Father of?
well, Jews didn't exist yet because they come from Judah, which was his great grandson. But yeah, he was a Hebrew. I'll tell you that.
Great grandpa Jews.
Why are there no lights? Oh no, Dudley's here. He's black. He probably knows what color Abraham was. Oh my gosh.
Luke just spit her drink.
I got it down.
She did not lose any drops of peanut butter.
Hey,
No.
Dudley, what color was Abraham? We need to know.
You just asked Dudley what color Abraham
A
was.
Hebrew guy from the Middle
I
East.
gotta go to my brother. He knows what's
A Hebrew
up.
guy from the Middle East.
A Hebrew guy from the Middle East. I mean,
You know what I say to that though is, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
right.
But if you're going to perpetuate the idea, really it all comes down to heart condition. But if you're going to perpetuate the idea of the skin color of our Messiah,
Yep.
or even any one of our fathers in the faith, like, how dare you? If you have ill intent, say it's birthed out of racism. How dare you associate my Messiah with that?
Yep. I agree with that.
You know,
I agree. And I'll be the first one to tell you, he was not blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus.
No.
Like, there's no way.
Oh, with the blonde that like he looked more like he's been on the cover of like a romance.
Yeah,
novel,
there's no
like
way
the-
that's what he looked like. And
Fabio. Jesus is
Yeah.
not Fabio.
I would imagine.
That? You're missing the point.
I would imagine dark-colored hair, dark-colored skin, dark eyes. Why do I care? I don't care a little. By the way, dark-colored hair, dark-colored skin, dark eyes. Don't care. Don't care. Right? And no, I'm not the Messiah. Not saying that I am. It doesn't matter, is the point. It doesn't matter.
Rain Cat just saw you guys.
You mean there's no Korean Jesus? Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what we would call him in
So
Korean.
what if we see
Let's
him
ask
do,
Shine.
like,
She likes
nothing
K-pop.
like what we expect? We're like, what?
So it'll be,
So like way off on a tangent.
so one thing I've actually wondered, as far as the looks of the Messiah,
Uh-huh.
his beard was pulled out. His face was marred completely to where he was unrecognizable, even so much so that when he revealed himself to the disciples, they had no clue who he was talking about until he made it known to them.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be that when we see him coming, that he will bear all those same scars? Does he still have the hair follicles on his face?
I don't know.
Just something to think.
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
know.
we'll know when we see him, though.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we'll know.
Yeah.
Well, every knee will bow, every tongue will confess.
Yeah.
Like, we'll know. And we'll know, well, he's told us, like, hey, if somebody's like, yo, Messiah's over there, don't believe him. Hey, Messiah's over here, don't believe him. You will know when I come back. So, yeah, like a bolt of lightning, he's coming back. So that's going to be fun, you know, when that happens. People ask me all the time, they're like, yo, Bear, are we in end times? Maybe. When Moshe and Eliyahu start spitting fire from the Temple Mount, which, by the way, and so if we're talking about like the abomination of desolation in like the book of Daniel, there has to be a temple to be desolated. There's no temple right now. There's no third temple. How's that work? And people are like, well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen on the Temple Mount. Okay. Well, they're not doing any sacrifices there because they have to put a stop to the morning sacrifice and the evening sacrifice, and then the abomination that lays waste, the abomination of desolation, is the sacrifice of a swine where they had been sacrificing sheep. That's not happening currently on the Temple Mount. So, could it? Yes. Is it happening currently? The temple is the church, the apostasy. Negative. It's talking about Jerusalem. There's no church in Jerusalem on the Temple Mount.
Can I
So-
ask a question about that? Just because I would like
No.
clarification. Oh, okay.
Absolutely. What do you got?
So is that like a 100% sure thing that it is going to be in Jerusalem? Not like how people will say, well, your body's a temple now, so it could be something that's happening, like, you know, you're desolating your temple of the Holy Spirit. So is it an actual physical temple that's going to be there?
So in the book of Daniel, Daniel 10, 11, and 12, it talks about the daily sacrifices.
Yeah.
And that the daily sacrifices will be stopped.
Okay.
And then they will sacrifice the abomination that lays waste on the Temple Mount.
Okay.
And so it's a physical place that Daniel is referring to in Jerusalem.
Okay.
Because the whole context of Daniel talks about Zion, that city on a hill. It's Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And so it's possible that they could be talking about in here, the temple. But then if you go forward to Revelation, and a lot of people are like, well, you know, Revelation's really hard to understand. Like, read Joel, read Ezekiel, read Isaiah, read Daniel. All that imagery comes from the other major and minor prophets.
Yeah.
John just had this dump that tied all of the major and minor prophets together all in one go, right? You've been reading Revelation. We're talking about that at Men's Retreat. And so, but in Revelation 21, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth and a new Jerusalem and a new temple coming down out of the heavens. And so it's like, are you here to punch me?
No, not
Whoa,
at
you
all.
look
I came to
so
get
scary.
hugs
You-
from.
Dude, look at
you-
G.I. Joe.
I downsized. What's going on, Shalom?
like a,
Hey,
you look
is that
like a
Abraham?
G.I. Joe. Oh,
Like,
man.
I came to bring diversity.
Oh.
Yeah, because they were House of Lamar was asking if he was black, saying he was black. It doesn't matter.
Hold on. Are you Yeshua?
No, I am
Okay,
not.
just checking.
No.
Okay, because we would know, right?
Yes, you would.
Okay.
Yeah,
Does it matter?
not at all.
Okay, just checking.
Well, it wouldn't matter if I was Yeshua.
I agree with that.
Yes, that would matter. But not because of the color of my skin.
Praise
no,
God.
not at all.
I agree. And as you can see, there's clearly some barriers here between skin color here in Bear Camp. We only fellowship with white people, as you can tell.
You're black Jesus.
Somebody should also tell all the Latino people. Are they Latinx now? I don't know.
No, Latinx.
Although the Latin,
Yeah.
Somebody
I
got
thought
on
it
me
was.
about that the other
Is
day.
it pronounced Latin X or Latinx?
I thought it was Latinx.
Is
I
it?
think it's Latinx.
Is it?
Latin
I like Latinx a lot more.
Latinx.
I like Latinx a lot more.
Latin 10?
Why did it change? I don't understand.
No, because the masculine and feminine in all the Latin words, Latino.
Like the O and the ah.
is masculine, but since they want to be
Oh,
gender
it's like gender
fluid,
neutral.
yeah,
Gender.
all of that
So it's
crap.
like the he, she, it.
Yes.
Okay.
Or Zizim Zer.
So
Oh, it's not.
like
Yeah, pretty
Latinx,
much.
would you call
Is
it?
it gonna be
Latinx?
Latinx.
Latinx is Zers.
Okay.
Wait,
I
what?
think I just had an aneurysm.
Do they get their own bathroom?
I don't think so.
South of the border, yes. Here, no. Here, no. And with that, we're going to enjoy our company on the porch. We love y'all. 2 hours in. Have a blessed evening.
Yeah, we
Shalom.
should-
Shalom, everyone.
We get